So excited. So firstly, for those that don't know me, my name is Lizzy. I am British, but I live in Florida and I live here with my husband and two kids, two cats and a dog as well. I have to mention that they'll probably be walking in here at some point. The dog will, not the kids. The kids are in bed. But anyway, I have been with Young Living. I got into Young Living seven years ago, like last month, because we traveled so much, and I was just like, I need extra help with my immune system because of just so many travels. And so I had an oily friend and she's like, here, you should try these. And I was like, no. And so now it's just hilarious looking back that I literally love to put oils on anyone I can. And then I love to teach people how to put oils on other people and how to build a really successful business doing that as well. So we're going to jump in. So tonight I am going to, oh, but let me add this. I didn't really start building my business until about a year and a half in of being just a really happy customer. And the reason why is because I just like didn't see it. Like I didn't have that light bulb moment where I suddenly thought to myself, like, I think I could do this as well. Like all of you guys are here because you want to grow a Young Living business. And for you guys, like just think about when was the moment that you decided, like, I want to do this and I think I can do this. Because I remember for me, it was a combination of some things. It was a thought that, other people have done this. So why the heck not me? Another thought I remember having was, you can grow in any area. So why not just try this? And then if I need to get better at teaching classes, I did a lot of online classes. And if I want to get better at social media has been something I've grown in this past year. I got to diamond pretty much without much social media, just a few posts here and there, but mostly they were with my kids. So I didn't massively post. I used to do a lot in stories and like, educate people in there about what I was using that day or what I was diffusing, all those different things. But I remember thinking to myself, if I want to grow, then I can learn how to do it because you can pretty much YouTube anything and learn something. You can learn about anything on YouTube and it's free. You can listen to podcasts. There are so many things out there to help you grow and help you learn. And so one of the things that when I got started, I thought to myself, well, if I just don't quit, I can just keep doing this. I know that there'll be times where it'll be great and there'll be times where it's going to be tough. There's going to be people that might say no if I say, do you want to try this oil, and how am I going to cope with that? There's going to be some people who run this as a business with me and maybe move on to other things. Like there's going to be bumps in the road, and those are completely normal. So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit more and how your mindset can really carry you through those times. Okay. So, and if anytime any of you guys have questions of anything I'm saying, you can pop it in the chat and then I will look in there a little bit later. But okay, so tonight I am going to be talking about having a success mindset and what that means, and how literally having a mindset of success can get you the success and the goals that you want. It can help you hit those goals through anything, no matter who you are, where you're from, how many hours a day you have to give to Young Living business. Like no matter what, if you're going through a hard time, if you're going through a great time, success mindset is the key. Okay. And it's the key to kind of anything. It's the key to growing this Young Living business. It's the key to getting fit again. It's the key to anything that you want. So let's define some stuff. I actually wrote these down on my phone because I thought these were really cool. I love looking up definitions. If ever you're like, what's that person talking about? I love just going on Google and being like, definition of this, because you learn so much that way. Okay, so success, there are a few definitions. One of them was like famous. And it's like, no, we're not trying to be famous here. Maybe famous for oils and how much we love them, and success, sure, right? But I love to look up definitions, and I liked this one. So success is defined as the achievement of something desired, planned, or attempted. So I thought, that's really good. I liked that. And then what the heck is a mindset? Okay. A mindset, I found three different things it said here. A fixed mental attitude or disposition that predetermines a person's responses to and interpretations of situations. So basically, it's your attitude, it's your disposition that predetermines a person's responses. So your mindset, right, can be something that predetermines a person's responses and interpretations of it. Can actually, your mindset and how your mindset is set basically can lead to you interpreting different situations different ways. Isn't that interesting, right? Because a lot of the time we're in a situation and we have a thought and we think to ourselves, oh, this is just how it is. But what if that isn't how it is? And what if something that you observed made you like upset you, or it made you like stumble or doubt yourself, and you sat in that for like a week, right? Just based on your mindset. So a thought is not, I think Jill just said it, a thought we often think are facts. Now, our brain offers us thousands and thousands and thousands of thoughts every single day. And if we are not aware of them, we can walk around having these thoughts in our brain and we literally think, well, this is just the way it is. Okay. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. But okay. And then there's three different ones. So an inclination or a habit, that's another thing of mindset. And then the third one is a way of thinking, an attitude or opinion, especially a habitual one. So just think about that for a second. Let me read that one again. A way of thinking, an attitude or opinion, especially a habitual one. And so when we're wanting success, when we have big goals, when you have that rank you want to hit, or maybe you just have a goal of, I want to help 3 people get started with Young Living. I want to help 1 new brand partner get started. Like whatever goal you have right now, what if just your way of thinking can help you achieve that? And so I remember when I first got started in this business 5.5 years ago, I was listening to amazing Young Living leaders, and I was listening to some podcasts of some people that have been really successful in business. And I remember thinking to myself, they talked all about mindset, just grow your mindset. And I remember being like, how do you grow your mindset? This used to drive me nuts. Literally, like, what do I do? Okay, I'm having a tough time. Just change your mindset. How? And I don't know if you guys have ever felt that way. I can see some people nodding. I'm loving that. Let's get honest. This used to frustrate me. I was like, how? Okay, it's all happy and good for you, isn't it? Like, I'm just struggling over here. I probably have a crappy mindset and I want to make it better. Anyway, so I basically was like, how to change your mindset. And I just did a whole bunch of things. I read a lot of books. So a couple of my favorite books are Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I absolutely love that book. And this book, okay, let me tell you one story from it because it's absolutely fantastic. If you haven't read that book, definitely read it, because a lot of our mindsets or thought patterns or things that we think are true and are just, that's the way. For example, let me show an example. My husband and I, married for nearly 12 years. My family in England, what we would do is at the end of every meal, there would be me or my brother would lay the table. My mom would usually cook. Me or my brother would lay the table, right? And then the other one who didn't lay the table clears it off. So of course, both of us are always trying to lay the table. It's a way easier job. But anyway, so one of us would then have to clear the table off. All right. So I got married to Greg, and then I would sit there and I'd say I'd like ladle the table. I'd kind of sit there and he would just go take his plate to the sink. And I'm like, excuse me, that is so. But basically his family, what they would do at the end of every meal is they would take their own plate to the sink, and then they would rinse it and then put it ready. And then one person would load the dishwasher and do the rest of the dishes. That's just the habit they had in their family. But my family, it was different. So I remember it was just one of those little things. It was quite an easy one to work out. Like some other things in marriage can be more tough than that. But I was like, why didn't you take my plate? I thought that was rude. He was like, why'd you leave your plate sometimes? I thought that was rude. And it was just things that we grew up doing. And in the same way that we have those habits, we have these thoughts that are habits as well. And we are usually unaware of it. One of the keys to growing your mindset is becoming more self-aware. And so just a little simple task for you guys. This is something that I've been doing a lot these past 6 months. It's catching myself. And if I'm suddenly thinking something, we can go about, again, some people say there's lots of different numbers. People give 60,000 thoughts a day, 12,000 thoughts a day. I've heard lots of people write different, let's just say we have thousands and thousands, okay? Often what we have are things called default thoughts, or thoughts that we have often. And some of those things are usually probably from childhood, maybe some things that you've heard from your parents, maybe some things you've heard from trusted mentors. And it's not that they're wrong. It's probably those thoughts came from their mindset. And here's the thing, there's no right or wrong way to doing the dishes, right? Like whether you take it out, whether you serve someone and you take all their stuff out, whether you go and do it yourself, that's neither of those is right or wrong. It's a different thought pattern. It's a different mindset. It's a different habit. Okay. So in the book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, this is another really great illustration for how our habits are passed down, and in the same way our thoughts are passed down. Is he tells a story, and for those of you that read it, I think you guys probably would love this story as well. But anyway, his wife, or a wife in the book, I can't remember if it's his wife or someone else, but he was talking about a lady in the book. She was cooking ham, right? And so what she did is she got the ham and she cut it in half. And she puts it in the pan and starts cooking it. And the husband was like, why do you cut the ham? And the lady was like, I'm actually like not really sure. I'm not really sure why I do it. My mom always did it. So he thought, okay. And she was like, you know what, you've got me thinking. I'm now going to call my mom. So she called her mom. And her mom was like, she said, Mom, why did you always cut the ham before you cooked it in the pan? She said, oh, I didn't know. My mother just always did it. I just did it as well. And so anyway, she called up her mom and she said, Mom, why did you cut the ham every time? I've always done it. My daughter does it. Like, why did you do it? And she said, oh no, you don't have to cut the ham. It's just my pan was too small. And so and all her life, like it's just been passed down this thought, right? And maybe you've heard other thoughts like, money doesn't grow on trees or any other sayings like that. All right. Now, does it literally grow on trees? No, it doesn't. Okay. But when someone is saying those kind of things to you, maybe your father said that, maybe someone else said that, okay? Or maybe you've had a thought that money or success are a bad thing. Maybe someone got hurt by something. We can go in with these set mindsets. And the key to changing them, number one, is becoming aware of them. So like I said, a little task you can do is just go about your day, just have like a notebook. So I always have one notebook on the go at all times. And I write in there ideas for my business. I write when I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, this is a really good idea. I try not to wake up in the middle of the night, use lots of oils so I don't wake up much. But if I do, I will grab my notebook and I'm like, okay, this is a great idea. Okay, this is a great idea. And I do that as I walk around the house. My notebook follows me around the house. If you don't just have that, that is a great, simple business growth thing right there. Just have one notebook and write out everything in it. I write down my thoughts. Someone said post-its. Yes, post-its. The thing I like about a book is you can see and it keeps it all in one place and you can kind of see your progression. One of the number one things I'm going to say about doing a thought download, some people call it a thought dump, some people call it a thought download. So throughout your day, if you're suddenly kind of feeling a little off or you're just like struggling, just stop for a moment, like 2 minutes, and think to yourself, like, what am I thinking right now? Like, and if you're noticing yourself thinking certain thoughts a lot, write them down and see what they are. And it's fascinating to kind of see what might be tripping you up there. One of my favorite tools, and Jill knows this so well, is the thought model. This is by Brooke Castillo. You can go on YouTube and you can listen to more about this. But this is another tool that I love to use with my team to help them see where they're really at. Okay. And a lot of the time, if we're not doing the things, in our business that we know we need to do to grow, or maybe someone in your downline like isn't doing that, often, pretty much all the time, there is a thought there that is causing them not to do the actions they need to grow. Okay. And thoughts are made, our mindset is made up of our thoughts, right? So for example, if I have a team member and they're coming to me saying, oh, I feel stuck. Okay. I'm stuck it's actually not a feeling, it's actually a thought. Okay. And so what is actually true here? Is I'm stuck an actual fact? That's another thing. So what you want to do is you want to download some thoughts, catch yourself if you're feeling off, number one, then download your thoughts, number two. Okay. If a thought, for example, is I'm so stuck, I'm not growing in my business. Okay. If that's a thought you're having, then you're going to ask yourself, is that actually a fact of what's going on? Am I actually stuck? Because if you are actually stuck in your business, it means that you're actually unable to do anything to help yourself grow. And is that actually true or not? Even if the circumstance or the fact is that maybe your OGV has gone down. Like maybe my OGV was this and it went to this. That's a fact right there. Okay. So you can use that as a fact. Then your thought about it is what is going to be the key to what's going to happen afterwards. Okay. And we always get results from our actions we take, or we don't get results from the actions that we don't take. This is why it is so key to know your thoughts and to get really clear on them, become even more self-aware. So for example, let's walk through this like thought model of I'm stuck. Okay. So circumstance, let's say my OGV dropped by 2,000 last month, say something like that. Okay. That's a fact right there. The thought is I'm stuck and my business isn't growing. Okay. And then how are you going to feel about that? For me, that would probably make me feel, if I'm thinking I'm stuck and there's nothing I can do, maybe let's have that thought. I'm stuck and there's nothing I can do. The feeling I'm going to feel is discouraged. Like I'm going to feel discouraged, maybe a little lack of hope going on there. Maybe what are some other things? You could just feel a bit sad about it. Okay. You could also feel a bit worried about it. Like, what am I going to do? Right. And then how does someone, ask yourself this, how does someone who is discouraged and hopeless and feeling these things, how do they act? Like, how do they show up in their business? Because my guess is that they probably aren't showing up, or maybe they will hide. Right. Another thing we can do, and if you find yourself doing this, this is another good thing to do. So if you're catching yourself feeling down, do a thought download. But if you find yourself doing this, this is another thing that is a flag for you to stop for 5 minutes and be like, okay, what is going on? Yes. So Jordan just said procrastinate. Yes. We also call it buffering. So what I can do is, if I'm feeling a bit down, right? Say, say I was online and someone who was going to buy some oils is suddenly now like, I don't want them anymore, or I bought them from somewhere else, or whatever they said, right? That's going to make you feel, oh. And so there's a bit of a negative feeling there. Okay. And this is something that I absolutely do, is I do something called buffering. So what I will do, and I will buffer with good things. It's not always me just kind of, doing things that are like bad. Like, I'm not just going to go out and or get angry or do certain things like that. I can buffer with really good things. Like, I go and catch up on my laundry. That's one of the things. Now listen, laundry is good and we need to do that. Maybe you buffer with cleaning. Maybe you buffer with some good things. Maybe you buffer, like me, I go clear out a cabinet and then I feel great afterwards. But the thing is though, that thought, that feeling I'm having over here from that person saying no, or my OGV being lower and having the thought that I'm stuck and I'm never going to grow, right? I literally need to just take a second. Like, Lizzy, this is not your laundry time right now. I don't really know when my laundry time is, if I'm honest with you. It sits on our guest bed for a while, clean. But anyway, but whenever that is not meant to be in my work hours. So when I catch myself buffering, I have to pause for a moment. I'm like, okay, what are you feeling right now? And discouraged. What thought is causing that? This. And then why are you thinking that? Because my OGB dropped or something like that, right? Yes, avoiding, exactly, Perry. Avoiding. You're just avoiding feeling negative feelings, because we are wired as humans to not want to feel negative emotion. But I'm going to offer to you guys tonight that actually negative emotions and feeling those feelings is actually going to be the key to changing your mindset and then actually getting the results that you want to get. Because here's the thing, you have thoughts going on in your brain, whether you want to say that they're or not, whether you want to pretend that you're not thinking those things and everything's just going to be okay. Okay, sometimes we can think those things and we're almost trying to put a band-aid over something instead of actually dealing with a feeling or a thought that is actually trickling down and bothering us and causing us inaction, or doing laundry instead of following up with like 10 people you're meant to follow up with. And so this is something that has been my homework the past 6 months, has been, okay, I'm feeling negative feelings right now. I don't need to completely rescue myself out immediately. I want to sit in it. Okay, what are you feeling? I'm feeling frustrated. Okay, where are you feeling it? I'm kind of feeling this tight in my chest a bit. I'm feeling hot, like I'm like frustrated. Okay, why are you frustrated? And I will literally ask myself questions. Why are you frustrated right now? Okay, get my book out. I'm feeling frustrated. I will run a model on it, a thought model, feeling frustrated. And then action, buffering, result, not getting done the things that I know to get done to grow my business. Okay. And so I will do that. And I will be like, okay, why are you feeling frustrated? And I will just kind of sit and wait. And it will usually come to me of like, I'm having this thought about this situation. So I don't rush out of it. A lot of the time I used to just rush out of that. No, it's going to be okay. Some people really love affirmations. And if you love affirmations, that's great. I'm not saying that affirmations don't work or aren't awesome. I have found that when I've just tried to do affirmations, I feel like I'm just trying to make myself feel better, or I'm trying to just kind of band-aid over something that actually is painful. Like if you do drop a rank in this business, like if someone does say no to you, someone you were really excited to enroll, like if someone said they were going to do this as a business with you and then they end up signing with another company and doing it or something like that, right? These are all really tough things. And you know what? It's okay to feel sad about those things. It's actually okay to feel a little frustrated about those things. Because when you actually admit to that, then you can go out and work out what thought it is that's causing you to feel that way. So let's run. So that's an unintentional model, the ones that we're kind of feeling a little bit sad about. Okay. Yes, I'm seeing, yeah, admitting it's hard to sit there. It's so hard to sit in your negative feelings because your brain is wired. The number one thing that your brain wants to do is to keep you alive. That's what the brain is there for. It wants to keep you safe, it wants to keep you comfortable, and it wants to avoid risk, and it also wants to conserve energy. This is why, if you were like me, this is why it can sometimes be very hard to like go work out. I'm like, oh, my chair's so comfortable right now. I've got a biomat and that thing is just calls my name all day long. This is why it'd be so nice to just go and drink tea and sit on my biomat. But instead, I know I need to go and do my workout because that's a goal I have in this season. But my brain is like, no, stay comfortable. It wants to avoid, it wants to conserve energy. It wants to avoid risk. Not that I'm doing anything that risky. I used to do CrossFit a lot. That can be pretty risky sometimes, but also awesome. I loved it so much and I will get back into it one day. But for now, I am really recovering from some burnout and everything that I struggled with last year, some stress, and I'm feeling so much better. So I've been doing things like Pilates and that kind of stuff and some low impact stuff. But anyway, my brain doesn't want to do that. It wants to relax and it wants to stay comfortable. So your brain doesn't care about your goals. Okay, your brain doesn't really care about your goals, just because to get your goals you have to get uncomfortable and you have to do that. And the thing that I find the most uncomfortable is sitting in those hard emotions that are actually going to be the things that let you know actually what you're thinking and what your actual issues are. Okay, let me go to, I wrote out all this stuff I wanted to say to you guys on the plane, and then just right before the call I was texting Jill and I was like, I just feel like they need to hear this as well. I feel like so many people, so many of us right now need such encouragement. And my encouragement to you guys is that you can absolutely influence and change the results that you're having. And the way to do this is with a success mindset. And it's to really sit in those negative emotions and see what thoughts are causing you to feel that way. Okay. Because we always act out of our feelings, like I was talking about earlier, and then we get results from our actions, right? Thought model. So definitely go and watch a video on that after this. Hold on, let me see where I'm going to go with this. Okay, let's talk about success in general. We often think that success is like linear like this. It's just going to grow. I'm going to start my business right here and it's just going to grow in this line like this, right? We think this is awesome. This is how it's going to be. But in reality, success looks a lot like this. It's kind of curves up, maybe it spikes, comes down again, goes up again, maybe it goes right down, and then it's going to come back up again. This is what real success, a journey to success looks like, okay? So when we have the right mindset, it's going to carry us through those ups and downs and those more challenging seasons, okay? We often think that bumps in the road are like someone just said no to me. Okay, that could be a little minor bump, but really the bumps that come in this business is when you have dropped a rank or when you aren't seeing the results that you want to see quite as fast enough, or maybe your OGV is half of what it was last year. Like that actually does really happen in this business. On one of our masterminds calls with Kristen Boss, the program that Jill and I are in, she had a lady from another network marketing company come and talk to us, and she had been with them for 20 years. And she said in those 20 years, she actually only had 5 years of explosive growth. The other years were either the same or even down. But the 5 years that grew her up, remember that line I kind of drew you like this? Okay, it went up and up, even if it went down sometimes. And so this is the reason why having the right mindset and knowing how you're thinking and feeling is going to carry you through those times. So when it dips like that, we call those the valleys in this business, okay? And it's completely normal in an entrepreneurial journey, which is what you guys are in. This is what we're all in, okay? Whether you're in this business, whether you run a coffee shop, like whatever it is that's your business, you are going to go through these ups and downs, these valleys, these mountaintops. It's going to come. And the reason why I'm so passionate about talking about mindset is because I want you guys to stick in it, even when you're down in the valleys, because those are the moments where you can learn and you can grow and you can see what you need to do to get out of that valley if you stay long enough. Many will quit in those valleys. And listen, it is so tempting. Okay, when you're having a hard month, when you're having a hard quarter, when it's been a tough year, it can be so easy to just be like, you know what, I don't know if this is worth it. But if you were just to press through and to stick with it a little longer, then you're going to come out of that valley. And I hate it when I hear of people quitting and it was like right before they're about to get the breakthrough. And if you guys have seen, there's like that funny cartoon of someone like digging like in a mine, right? And then they just turn like that. It's like there's like two men, right? And then one of them there's the gold right here and all the gems. And there's one guy and he's just literally turned around and gone back the other way right before he was about to do it, right? Right before he was about to hit right there and strike gold or get those gems. So stick with it, dig in. These are the times when you're in a valley, these are the times where it's to dig into your own personal development and your mindset. This is the time where you go listen to Kristen Boss's podcast. This is the time where you go read these books like Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, those times to kind of encourage you and get you out of those. Okay. When something tough happens, we think about quitting, or we think, let's just see how the rest of the month plays out. And if only we had a stronger mindset and a more long-term vision to carry us out. So one of the things I do, if I'm in a bit of a valley season where I'm a little bit like everything's gone like this and it's maybe gone down a little bit, or it's gone up a little bit and then down again a little bit, and you're like, it was just getting better and now it was a tough month again. Okay, when I'm in there, this is what I do. Okay, I run a bunch of thought models and really see what I'm thinking about my season and where I'm at. And then the other thing I like to do is I like to take an honest look at the boat I'm in. Often we call it a boat. Where are the holes in your boat? Like, where are the gaps in your business that you need to patch up in this valley season that's going to take you up and out of it and sail you on past that rough patch? Okay. I remember thinking about this and hold on a second. Yes. So you want to look at the holes in your boat, make a plan, and then you want to execute your plan. Stop sitting in a raft in the middle of the ocean waiting for the next sale or your upline or anyone else to contact you. The key in this business is learning how to grab an oar, fix your patches yourself, and get out of it. That is what's going to take you to diamond and beyond in this. Okay. Where are you leaking? This is a really good thing to think about too. Are your customers not ordering again? If they're not, you need to create some more educational classes about subscribe to save loyalty rewards. Maybe you could ask them, hey, fill out this wellness questionnaire that you can get in the Life Steps app. If you fill it out, send me your detail, like send me what you got. I'll give you a $5 Starbucks gift card. That's one of my favorite things to do. Easy, right? Everyone likes it, coffee, right? So go in, get it. And yes, what Jill is saying right now, all the data is there. So another thing to do when you're sitting in your boat, okay, you're struggling to get out of that valley, okay, you want to take your data and let it mean something to yourself. If you have a low subscribe to save percentage, then you're going to need to be doing some more training on that, okay? Don't make your data mean anything about you. This is key. Data is just numbers showing you where you need to grow. It's not telling you you're terrible at this. Maybe you should give up. People don't like you. It's not telling you any of those things. Okay. I have so often thought those things, I'm a sensitive person. Okay. So I have had to work through a lot of insecurities in my life, and making data not mean something about you is key. And it can be tough because sometimes we're like, I haven't enrolled anyone this month. And and actually just the beginning of the month, I didn't enroll anyone this last month or whatever it is that is bugging you. Instead of making it mean that you're bad at this, just be like, okay, why didn't I enroll anyone this last month? Okay, turn it into a question and ask yourself, did I have any classes? Did I invite anyone to classes? Did we, you have these calls on a Monday night. Did you invite people to it? And then also, if you're inviting people and they're not showing up to things, ask yourself why. A lot of people don't ask themselves why. They stop at just thinking, I'm just not good at this, or they don't want to come because they don't like me, or they don't like oils. Let me just say this. If someone has said yes to you once, to oils, to buying anything from you, they've said yes. Okay. Right in that. Be stable in that. Be secure in that. They said yes to you. Okay. Invite them to those classes. And then if they didn't come, did you send a reminder an hour before? Did you explain to them the benefit of them coming to that class? Say you taught a class and you had 3 people watching and you invited 20 and you're thinking, oh, why didn't more people come? Right there, what can happen is we turn that in and they make that mean something about us negatively. But no, you can take full responsibility in a way that you're not bashing yourself with it. Okay, like this didn't happen, I must be bad at this. Bash, shame, I must be bad at this. Shame says there's something wrong with me. That's what shame is saying to you. Okay. That's an emotion. That's a very strong and very difficult emotion to feel, shame. And it's meaning that you think there's something wrong with you. Okay. So we're not going to move to shame. We're not going to move to blame. Well, they just don't care about this. No, if they were one of your customers, they said yes once. Okay. And so what we're going to stay really neutral. We're going to have a neutral response and not be emotional. And we're going to think, okay, let me look at how did I give them like advance notice of this class? Did I explain to them the benefits? Any kind of class that you have, you need to tell people why they need to trade you their time. Okay, because time is so precious. You're going to have a half an hour class. You need to tell people you're going to come to this half an hour class and you are going to get this, and this. You're going to learn these simple tips and tricks. It's going to help you in your life, this, and this. You need to sell to people the reason they need to give you their time and they come to the class. Okay. So that's a really key thing if you are someone that likes to teach classes, because I like to teach classes. Another thing I hear a lot is I don't have any brand partners. Like no one ever wants to do this as a business with me. Well, ask yourself why. Don't make that mean something about you. Keep your mindset neutral. Okay, why do I not have any? How often do I share about the business opportunity? Have I talked to my best friends who I just think to myself, man, this would be so awesome to do this together? Or a friend that you know that is really struggling financially and this would be great for them. Remember, people can start this business for $30 now. Like that's insane. Okay, a business for $30. That is crazy. With the Business Essentials Kit, you can help them get started. Did you talk about it on your social media? Do you talk about this as a business? And if your answer is actually no, I haven't, okay, then that's why you haven't got any new brand partners. All right. Or maybe you said it in a way, maybe you have talked about it, but maybe you were like, this is why you should do it. And maybe you came across in this way that was not simple to understand. Did you explain it simply? That's another thing we can do. I can hear people say, well, I don't have anyone on loyalty rewards. I'm like, okay, how many times did you explain it? Oh, I think I don't remember if I did. Okay. So if you didn't explain it, you can't expect anyone to be on it, right? So if you explain it, usually people need to hear things about 3 times for it to start to be clear. Stephen's saying $30. Yes, $30. Brand Partner Essentials Kit. Okay. I'm going to talk about a little bit of a tough thing, if you guys are okay with that. Brand partners quitting, maybe even going to other companies. Okay. This is something that has happened in my downline. Okay, maybe some of you have had this as well. And what I did in this moment was something pretty tough. I asked myself, is there anything lacking in my leadership that could have led to them leaving? Okay, I didn't turn it into shame. I didn't take this and go, I'm a bad leader. They preferred this other person, and I didn't beat myself up with it. I stayed in a really neutral place, and I thought, oh yeah, when the compensation plan changed and when it all changed to being, how you got enrolled as a brand partner, I remember not sitting down and really selling myself on the benefit of how you can now build a business with Young Living. I was living in nostalgia of the old days. It was so much easier then. If you find yourself saying that, you need to stop, because we're not there anymore. We're here now. Okay. I used to think I hate social media. But listen, a lot of people are on social media, and especially during the pandemic, so much was online. We got to continue our business. Social media is a powerful gift. It doesn't have to be a place where we can go and feel less than. If you fall into comparison on social media, just switch the thought. Instead of like, I'm not as good as this person, remember, you have a success mindset. Instead of having this thought of, I can't compete with that person. What if you chose a different thought? Like, I can be inspired by that person. I can look at what they're doing and I can add my own flavor to it, and I can show up as me. And then my people are going to find me on social media as I step out boldly and confidently in myself. But that person, they're amazing. Their success does not mean that I can't be successful. That's been a big thing for me, especially growing up, kind of living in comparison stuff. All of us, I think, have compared ourselves to at least 1 or 2 people in life, right? Like, let's be honest about that. And so instead of that, I switch from, oh, this girl is doing that. Her success doesn't mean anything about my success. I can be fully successful in my lane, and she can be fully successful in her lane. And so when you have thoughts like that, social media, if you struggle with comparison, is not going to trip you up as much. Also, there's the hide button. If someone's really getting to you, okay, you can just hide them. You don't even need to unfollow them. You can just mute them. Okay. So a brand partner quits, goes to another company. Pretty painful, right? Been there. How have I maybe contributed to them leaving? I know that's a really hard question. And sometimes you absolutely did nothing. Okay. But what if you just didn't, you were like me and you didn't sell yourself or your team on the benefits of the new compensation plan? That's something that really came up. And it was a pivotal moment in my business where I suddenly realized, wait a second, I need to sell myself on this. So what if, get curious, pivot. Exactly, Jill. Get curious. Like, what if it was because of this? And I literally sat on this 2 hour plane ride, and for 2 hours, I wrote out why and these are really good questions that you guys can do too. Why is this the best company to build a business with? I mean, you could write about that for days. You can mention the products as many times as you want. I mean, we have absolutely the best products. Okay. Yes, Perry, the fine line between that and shaming. Exactly. You don't want to blame. So when something hard happens, okay, we can go three ways. We can go to blame. Well, it's just this, them, that over there, whatever it is. We can go to shame, something wrong with me. I must be terrible. Or we can stay neutral and we can be like, okay, let's look at this. Is there anything that my team was lacking in training? And I was like, this was it. I really think this was it. So I sat on a plane for 2 hours and I wrote out in my notebook pages and pages of notes of why this is the best company to build a business, why now is the best time, and why I'm the best person to do it with. And I want you guys to do that. Why are you the best person for someone to join their team? Like, why? Write it out. If you're like, I don't know, think about it. Go to a really close friend and say, what do you think's awesome about me? What do you come to me for advice for? Like, what do you come to me? And just let them say things. And, what are 3 things that you really like about me? Ask your best friend that. They'll just say some stuff and you'll end up feeling awesome. And you should, because you are awesome. Every single one of you have incredible gifts to offer. And we're all completely designed that way. We're all different from each other. Someone could sell Young Living next door to you and it's going to be different because we're all different and it's all okay. You are your brand, you are everything. Okay. Okay, so we can go to blame, we can go to shame, or we can stay neutral. And that is always where I try and do it. Now, often when something hard like that happens, now that was a really hard thing to go through a couple months ago, but let's just say something not quite as hard as that. Okay, take it for example. It's okay to feel the feelings and you don't want to rush them. You don't want to rush them, like I was talking about earlier. So say something really hard happens in your business. Say someone does leave, right? It's okay to be like, okay, what am I feeling right now? Take some time to feel the negative emotions and don't rush out of them, because in there you're going to learn a lot about yourself. I used to be someone that would say, oh, I'm so good at like processing my emotions, but I actually realized I was actually good at recognizing them, but then not processing them. And you can learn more about how to process your emotions. Number one, we have these oils, right? And this is my emotions roller. We have such an amazing gift in dealing with our emotions and releasing emotions in our oils. Like there's whole subjects on that you can listen to. But get in your emotions, get in your feels, be like, what am I feeling right now? I'm feeling sad. And you know what? I had to have a little cry over it. I did. I was doing laundry and I was like, right, what am I feeling right now? Okay, I'm just sad because I really love that person and I poured into them and they decided to go do this. And I'm sad. And so I let myself feel sad, had a bit of a cry, released it. And then I thought to myself, okay, what can I do better as a leader? Like, what maybe did they lack training in? And I just turned it in, not bashing myself, but just neutral. Okay. Let me see. How is your team culture? This is another really great question. Okay. How is your team culture? Thoughts of the leader is the thoughts of the team. You want to, first of all, sort out how you're thinking and feeling. Okay. Thought download, all the things I was giving you earlier. You want to make a plan. You want to see where the holes in your boat are, right? Maybe it's to do with new customer retention. Maybe you're lacking brand partners, whatever it is. And then you're going to make a plan of action. You're going to feel pretty good about it. Remember, we're not going to go to shame. We're not going to be like, I'm just terrible at it. Okay. No, we're not going to do that because that's not going to make you feel great. Okay. We're going to be thinking things like, hey, I've had success in this business and I can do it again. I have successfully enrolled one brand partner and they reach star. I can do that again. Okay. Think thoughts like this. These are the thoughts that I like to choose. And then that's going to make you feel feelings of encouraged, motivated, excited, capable. Capable is one of the most incredible feelings. And I access that feeling a lot through my thoughts. So if you want to feel, ask yourself, how do I want to feel about enrolling brand partners? I'm like, I want to feel capable. Okay. How am I going to feel capable? thoughts like, I've done this before, I can do it again. I've helped many people reach success in this business, and I can do it again. Okay. So when you feel that way, you feel encouraged. And then when you feel encouraged and capable, you're going to show up on social media like that. You're going to show up in person like that. When you dream call that friend that you know you should dream call, that after this call right now, you're going to go off and be like, hey, you should just really do this with me. You'd be so good at this. Whoever that is right now. And if you have someone coming to mind, go do it. Why not? But make sure you're in that right energy, those right feelings, those right thoughts before you jump in and do those things. Sometimes if I'm just jumping on, like I do a lot of Instagram, I love Instagram. So if I'm going to go on my social media and I'm going to go talk about the business opportunity, and if I'm feeling a bit, I need to stop right there, ask myself how I'm feeling, thought download, then I need to go and fix that. It can often just be pretty quick, doesn't have to take all day long, but just get into your feelings and work out how you're doing and then switch it. Okay. So if I'm like, no one's listening, if I'm thinking the thought, if I'm like, I'm just not in the mood today, why? And then when I dig deeper, I'm like, okay, it's because that person last week said no when they said they were going to get it. And I'm disappointed. And I'm going to show up on social media and someone else is going to be intrigued and then say no. Okay. So I could be thinking these thoughts. But no, actually, what I did, this is a real story. This is just from last month. And I remember thinking to myself, no, you know what? Let's dig into that. That's why you're discouraged right now. And that's why you're going to show up on Instagram kind of dragging a little bit like, ugh. But actually I switched that thought out for thinking actually about all the people I have helped on Instagram, all the people that have said yes, all the people that did buy the kit. Often we just remember that one person, but there are like 100 other that have said yes. Okay. We can often be so tripped up by the one person that made a comment about network marketing. And then we stop sharing about the business because we're so worried about what this person said once, or we're worried about what someone is going to say who hasn't even said it yet. Right. And that person right there is probably not the person you're wanting to do this business with either. So we're so tripped up and worried about this person. And really, they're not even our ideal brand partner. Okay. So we just put Philip from third grade aside. Okay. Doesn't matter what he thinks. All right. You go rock it. If you're going to go on your social media and, talk about this as a business, which I recommend at least once a week, say some sort of benefit of why you love this as a business. Once a week, just jump on there and be like, this is awesome. This is why. Share a testimony, share anything. Okay. So what I did was I was like, no, I've helped a lot of people. I know that person said no, but then maybe even not a no forever. And I made myself feel a lot better. And then I showed up and whatever I did on social media. So let me see. I've got like a little bit of time left. When we take as much responsibility for our results as we possibly can, we actually become more empowered. Sometimes I think we can worry about taking responsibility for our results because we think we're going to start to blame or shame ourselves, right? But actually, I want you to look at how extremely empowering it is to look at your boat, see where your holes are, make an action plan, make sure that you're in the right state of mind, striving for that mindset at all times, and that you can change your results anytime. It's like for me, working out. I can go work out and I'm going to see results of that if I'm consistent and if I keep doing it. You're going to see results as you keep doing the actions that you need to do towards this as a business. It means that we have, so what does it mean to be empowered? I like to talk about being an empowered business owner. So number one, we're going to take captive our thoughts, right? And we're going to know what we're doing there. What does it mean to be empowered? It means that we have the power to get the results that we want to get. We don't want to fall to victim to our circumstances or our data or anything like that. We want to have the power. So when you're empowered as a business owner, you can change things. You look for the problems to fix. You're not afraid of looking at those. You don't take numbers personally, like I talked about. You're coachable, and it's okay to be imperfect and to have hard days. You create a plan based on the needs of your team. You see the long term, and you stay consistent with your plan, and you evaluate often. Okay, a victim business owner. This is the thing we don't want to do. Okay, we see problems and just blame external circumstances, or we see our numbers and we spiral down. We're afraid to look at ourselves. Okay, remember, we all have something called an ego, and the ego likes to protect. It wants to like hold you safe here, but actually it's so good to like dig in and be like, no, okay, I'm actually not perfect and I can grow in a whole lot of areas. That's so empowering to know that, because it means that you can grow and that you can change and that you can get the results that you want to get. This is actually extremely empowering, and I want each of you just to go away from this call knowing how your thoughts lead to your actions is so empowering, because it means that you can literally get the success Remember, we talked about success, the achievement of something desired, planned, or attempted. You can actually reach success in this business, or more success. So a victim business owner also just wonders what they should do all day. They're not making plans. They're not planning out their month ahead. They're reactive. Okay. That was me for so long. I was so reactive. I was like, I don't know what to do today. Oh, there's a fire that just came up. I need to extinguish it. And I'm not planning ahead. Okay. I was just being like this victim to everything happening. We micro quit a lot. When you're a victim business owner, you micro quit because you didn't see something instant, and you can tend to stay stuck in that. So we don't want to do that. So how to get back on track? We've talked a lot about this, but you want to analyze your data, look for your holes. You want to fine tooth comb your business activities. You want to look at what you're doing and actually what you're not doing. And the big key, and this is something our business coach was talking about, actually, no, one of our guest coaches said that when you're buffering, right, when you're doing the laundry, when you know that you should be doing something else, what are you not doing in that moment? That's a really good question to ask yourself. I actually was coaching one of my girls on this, and she's like, oh, when I'm doing that, I'm not following up with people that have been interested or I've talked to about oils. I'm like, okay. And I asked her when we had our weekly coaching, I was like, why aren't you following up? And she said, because I'm worried that it's like salesy and pushy. I was like, okay. And then I was like, do you think that you're a pushy person? She's like, actually, no. It's like, okay, why don't you think that? She said, because I really just love helping people with their health and wellness. I was like, okay. Just said okay to her. And she was like, oh yeah, I'm not pushy. She's like, oh my goodness, I love helping people. And she just went off and she followed up with a bunch of people. Like, she actually took the action she needed to take because we coached her through that mindset she needed to get to, right? I think that's good, guys. Like, I have a bunch more notes, but I feel like I've said so much and given you guys so much tonight. If any of you have any questions, I actually didn't look at the chat here. If you have any questions about this, you can throw them in the comments. Good. I'm so pleased. It's been so helpful, Deb. That's awesome. Yeah, seeing where your holes are is so empowering, because if we don't beat ourselves up over it, we can actually just see where they are and then make a plan and patch up the boat and get sailing again, you know? You create to grow. Yes, you're in charge of the emotional. You don't give away your power. Exactly. Empowerment is key in so many things. Good.
Now, there was a little question up there before that I think would probably be good, as other people are thinking too. Let's say that you are helping somebody and their question that comes to you is, but I don't have any brand partners and I don't know how to get somebody to be a brand partner. What would you tell that person?
So firstly, I would ask that person, kind of like I shared earlier, I would ask them, okay, well, how are you trying to attract new brand partners? And they would probably say, or I would probably ask them, if it was like one of my coaching calls, I would say, well, how are you feeling about attracting new brand partners? Like, do you have thoughts around that? And if they're like, well, no one wants to do this, I don't think anyone is interested in this, say that's a thought that they're having, right? How, when you're having that thought, how are you then going to feel about yourself as you're, coming to a friend about to share about it? You're probably going to just feel a bit like, oh, they're thinking in your head, they already don't want this. You're already saying no for them in your head, right? So then you're going to turn up a little bit shy, insecure, a little bit unsure, and people can feel it. Like, on social media, people can feel your energy in which you're like showing up, and people in person can do the same thing, right? So what you want to do is you want to take a step back, and you want to, like I was saying earlier, write why this is the best business opportunity, best company, and why you're the best person for them to join. Okay, get that belief up. Like, asking yourself those questions and writing out things is going to grow your belief. It's going to skyrocket it. And then how does that make you feel right now? When you've written out all of those things, it's going to make you feel like a boss, and it's going to make you feel awesome. And then that kind of energy and those kind of feelings of when you want to show up and do that. But I say to people when they say to me, and it's an often thing, I don't have any brand partners. I'm like, okay, what's your methods of which to get brand partners? And maybe they shared about it once or twice, or maybe they had some thoughts around it that is stopping them from sharing. And so we kind of dig into it. It can be different for different people. But I know in seasons where I'm more actively talking about becoming a brand partner in my team, it's because I'm usually having some pretty great thoughts about it. But if I'm not having pretty great thoughts about it, especially about myself, I'm usually not kind of showing up like that, right? So answer that question. Do you feel like, Jill?
No, yeah, that was perfect. And then there's just one other one. Maggie says, and I think this is really good because it kind of touches on your whole talk. How do you go from recognizing the thoughts and creating action steps to fully taking action? So what I'm thinking is like, all right, I know what this is, and I'm going through the model, and these are my actions, but then actually taking action. What thought process needs to do you need to create to do the thing you know you need to do?
Oh, that's such a good question, Maggie. I love that. Okay. I would probably, it just depends. So, for example, one of the things that Kristen Boss has really taught us, especially for those of us that, and probably all of you on here, are go getters and self starters, and you have this excitement and this desire to grow your business. Okay. So, therefore, you have a feeling of desire. And what you want to do is you want to think to yourself, what, okay, what thoughts are creating that desire in me? Okay. Desire is a great one. Um, what action steps? Okay. So I would say that if you're not moving to action, you still haven't got a thought probably quite strong enough that's propelling you into it. Because I love belief, and some often we can be like belief junkies too. We're like, I'm just gonna listen to like 12 podcasts and I feel great. But we actually want that kind of belief and those thoughts that are going to propel us into action. We want belief in action, not just belief. Okay. And the way to get there, I have found is yes, all the podcasts, be inspired by those kind of things. I love it. But I have to continue to dig into my brain until I'm literally like, I know what I need to do. And I'm like writing it out on a piece of paper. And um, one of the things I was coaching myself on was I want to revamp one of my systems I have. And I was like, what is a feeling I want to feel around this? And the feeling I wanted to feel was determined, because I know that when I hit determination, I get it done. And so that's a thought right there. That's one of my thoughts about myself, is when I'm determined, I get things done. And then that thought right there causes me to feel determined. And when I'm determined, I will take the actions necessary. So I would say dig in until you're literally like have this thought where you feel so excited, so determined, so capable that you create an action plan. A lot of the time as well, is I think that sometimes making an action plan is a little bit tedious. It just is. Okay. That's a thought about action plans, right? I just gave you one of my thoughts. But sometimes it's just one of those things. Like there are things in life that we have to just sit down and do. And so I'd say get yourself in the right mindset, feel those determination feelings. You want to feel those kind of feelings, encouraged. Okay. And then you want to just get your pen and paper out and just allow your hand to just start writing and just go for it. Don't delay it. Just go for it. Um, when I'm thinking to myself, I have to do this. Oh, that right there makes me feel things that don't really want to spur me to action. If I'm like, I have to, I have to reach out to these customers. I have to get more brand partners. Oh, I need, or even I need to get more brand partners in my business, right? Feeling desperation, lack, scarcity. Like you're going to be feeling those feelings. And then how, yeah, I have to do my taxes. Me too, Jordan. Oh, I still need to get them done. But I should do my taxes, or I can do my taxes. I like can. Um, but yeah, if you're feeling like I need to do this, or those are the feelings that you don't want to have. So you want to choose thoughts that are going to spur you to action, that's not going to make you feel like you're doing anything in this place of like scarcity, hustly kind of, I've got to get this energy. Yes, let me see how I will feel after the thing is done. Yes, so Jordan, right there, that's a great thought. After I have done my taxes, I am going to feel so good. That's a thought right there. Like I'm going to feel so much better once these are done. I always feel better when I've done my taxes, or I always feel better when I've cleaned the kitchen. Like it makes my house feel so nice and I feel so at peace in my home. That's a thought right there. And then feeling, yes, accomplished, something like that. So good. So, so good. I love those. I created a reward. Also, yes. Okay. Another book, Atomic Habits. If you haven't read that, you have to read it. He talks a lot about rewarding yourself after, like, the brain needs reward. And so reward yourself after you've done your taxes. I've got to think about that. What am I going to reward myself when I send my accountant, Tim, all the stuff he needs and stop dragging my feet? It's going to be done. It's going to get done. All right. Yes, Atomic Habits is so good. Really big. Yeah. Really big reward, man. That I don't even know what that could be yet.